What's for dinner, you ask? One of our Paget favorites, Tex-Mex Pork Chops. Are you feeling kind of aggressive? Are you really tired of being quarantined in your home or being stuck around family members who might be starting to drive you crazy? This is the perfect dinner to make because you can let out some aggression in the process because it uses a nice meat hammer. Okay, this dinner I've made for years. I don't make it a lot because it is labor intensive and I kind of like easy, simple dinners. So, but the positive thing about this meal is that, not besides it tasting really good, depending on what you serve it with, it can be a very good option for a low carb meal. So, but tonight I'm going to serve mine with rice, which stay tuned because I want to show you the quick and easy way of making rice that these sweet little Puerto Rican neighbors of ours when we were first married taught me how to make rice, and they know how to do it. So I'm going to give you that tip. And I'm going to serve it also with some roasted vegetables because we love roasted vegetables in this house. And so it's not going to be the most low carb meal, but like I said, depending what you do serve it with, it can work for that. I like giving credit where credit is due. This is not a recipe that I created. I got this from, believe it or not, Suzanne Summers. Years ago, I bought several of her cookbooks. I used her recipes. I tend to alter them a little bit, so this will have my alterations, but I just gotta say, it's not my own creation. So the ingredients that you need, first and foremost, you need pork chops, but you need boneless, thin pork chops. You want them already kind of thin, but you are gonna beat them even thinner. So boneless, thin pork chops. For the sauce, you will need heavy whipping cream. Yeah, yummy. And you'll need salsa, preferably a chunky salsa because you're going to drain it and get most of the juice out of it. You'll need plenty of butter to cook the meat in, and you will need some spices. I like salt and garlic powder, but the important thing is to use some type of taco seasoning or fajita seasoning. That's what gives it the Tex-Mex flavor. In terms of equipment, like I said, you'll need the meat hammer and a big pan. One of my favorite pans because I'm serving an army. So a nice big pan. I'm frying the pork chops in it and then also putting the sauce. So it needs to have some kind of a lip to it. And finally, as the side dish for our meal, I'm serving roasted vegetables. We love roasted vegetables in this house. Every night, I try to make more and more and more. I fill my biggest cookie sheet I can with veggies and they still get eaten. Every once in a while, I might have a little bit for leftovers for breakfast, but rarely. Ella, you like helping out, don't you?
Definitely.
You don't get to help out too much with the cooking, do you, though?
Mm-hmm.
No, but you like peeling carrots.
Definitely. And cutting.
You like cutting? So, Mary, you love veggies.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any tips? Some people might be kind of weirded out about Brussels sprouts. Do you have any tips about Brussels sprouts? Maybe the way you're cutting them or anything?
No, just roast them.
That's really in-depth. Now, I always tend to we cut off the ends, and then we take off the little bits of, like, loose leaves. But you like those loose leaves.
Yeah. When roasted them, they're kind of like chips.
Yeah.
Nice and crispy.
Yeah,
so whatever falls off when I cut them, I leave them with the rest of them. These are the bad ones.
Those are the bad ones, but you like them because they get crispy. Mm-hmm. And we tend to quarter them so that they cook faster. Otherwise, they take a long time. I don't understand people who cook Brussels sprouts whole. No. That just does not make sense to me. It takes so long. Yeah, and I feel like they get soggy.
And yeah, when you roast them, they don't go inside as well.
Right. Yeah, we want them to brown. So it's really good. Yeah. Yes. And then with the tip with cauliflower is just that we just cut them to bite size. Yes. And we do use coconut oil because it is, I think it's the best, most flavorful.
I just cut off my finger. Die.
Keep peeling, child. I've become a snob lately when it comes to cooking oil. Because I've done so much reading on the fact how bad manufactured oils are, and like canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, vegetable oil, all that stuff is so bad for you. And so, but it's in everything. So before food became scarce with the quarantine, I was very selective on what I get. But when I cook, I really love coconut oil. I will use olive oil, I will use avocado oil, and then I prefer coconut oil because when it comes to roasting is a high temperature cooking method. I'm roasting my vegetables at like 425. And so you want an oil that can hold together in that heat. Olive oil does not hold together very well in that heat, whereas coconut oil holds together very well. So does olive oil. No, sorry. So does avocado oil. Olive oil does not. A side note with coconut oil is that at room temperature, it is solid. Therefore, you got to scoop it out and then melt it either in your oven or in the microwave and then pour it onto your vegetables. Okay, so here I am with my log of pork chops. By the time I'm done, I will have 3 of these logs to cook for our family tonight. But I want to tell you the steps that I took to do this. I always roll out plastic on my countertop so that I don't have gunk and yuckiness all over my countertop and I don't get the germs that are on the countertop onto my food. So the plastic is my little holder. I lay out my pork chops, and then I cover those pork chops with another layer of plastic. Then I start banging. Now my countertops are very special to me, so I have to be very careful to make sure I don't apply too much pressure and I only hit the pork chop. Otherwise, I'm gonna crack my countertop. But in the olden days when I had cheaper countertops, I would bang the heck out of these things. Take all that aggression, all of that, oh my gosh, quarantine frustration out on those pork chops. My daughter asked me why we flatten out the pork chops, and it's simply so that it cook faster. People do this a lot with chicken breasts also to make like a chicken cutlet type of meal. After the pork chops are flattened, I pull back the plastic and then I start seasoning. I used garlic powder, salt, the taco seasoning. Then I will rub it in a little bit and then I flip over the meat and do it again. Garlic salt, or now it's garlic powder, salt, and taco seasoning. And then I put the plastic back on top and then roll it up into my log. And there you go, a log of meat that you can leave in the fridge until you're ready to cook. Or like for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish getting my 3 logs and then I'm gonna start my rice and then start the cooking. And here's probably the most shocking part of this whole thing is the amount of butter I'm gonna use to cook it in. I love butter. So I have my pan on and I'm gonna start with a good old chunk of butter and fry them up. And I will only add the butter when I feel like I need to have the butter. But like anything, if you have done any kind of cooking with this, you know that you get parts of the meat stuck to the pan, and that's great because all that seasoning and all those pieces of meat in the pan, so it will come up and season the sauce, which will be really yummy. Okay, you cook these about 3 minutes on one side, flip, and then 2 minutes on the other. You just want them to be cooked all the way through. And then when they're done, I will add them, I throw them onto a cookie sheet, and I stick it in the oven just so that they can stay warm while I keep cooking the others. Now, if some of you have smaller families, this is a lot faster process. All right, I'm gonna give you my secret about making good rice. You don't measure. I don't measure anything, but my rice turns out good every single time. And I'm using the whole thing because we have a lot of mouths to feed. I didn't measure the rice, and I'm not measuring the water. Excuse my dirty sink. I'm gonna fill the water with just regular water. You know, it's not hot or anything. And I add it until the water is about 1 joint higher than the bottom of the rice. Let me show you this. Look in here. There's the bottom of the rice, or the top of the rice and the water. My finger inserts, the water is about that much higher above the rice. That's what matters. I'm gonna put it on here, and I'm gonna get it going, and then I'll cover it and just let it cook for about 10-15 minutes, and it's done, and it makes perfect rice. Look at this massive amount of meat that feeds our family. Now we're gonna move on to the sauce. Come over here. My pan
because I cook so much meat, it is pretty dark. Now you guys, if you don't have your pan cooking this much meat, it won't, your droppings and stuff won't get this dark. But I'm not gonna scrape it because that's all flavor. For the sauce, it's equal parts of heavy whipping cream and salsa. I made sure that I drained the salsa, so I measured it first, then drained. So if you do 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, you do 1 cup of salsa. And then you just pour it in and stir. And you let that simmer. Once it's warm, I'm gonna throw the meat back in it, and voila, we're done. This is it for the meat. The rice is cooking along well. Let's look at the rice. It's looking pretty good. I know the rule of thumb, it says you're not supposed to open up a pot that's cooking rice. I do it all the time. I don't care if my rice is sticky. It's okay with me. That's perfect. It's ready to go. I'm turning it off. Because now we have the vegetables are cooking. Those guys need a few more minutes. Dinner time.
Crazy. Oh, we love this food so much. I'm about to put some rice on my plate.
Oh yeah, let's see
Rice.
how much.
Rice is
Rice.
what makes this body function.
There's no chicken here at all.
No.
Here's the problem is that I like rice so much that part of me wants to just section off a piece of rice so that I can put butter on it and salt and just enjoy the rice for the riciness of that rice. But the reality is that I gotta create a little bed of happiness
Oh my word.
so that I can put the...
You have other people eating, remember?
Do you know what? If you were not
used-
filming, I would put a little bit more on right now, but you're trying to shame me.
All right, guys.
Okay, let's let the fat person in.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate any likes, comments, sharing of our channel, and have a good night. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Tomorrow.